President Griffith, members of the Board of Trustees, faculty, alumni, families, friends, and most importantly, the graduating class of 2022. Good morning. I'm absolutely thrilled and honored to be here today. But to be totally honest, when I received an email from President Griffith a few months ago asking me to be your commencement speaker, the first thing I thought was, could this be an early April Fool's joke? I mean, it's not like I've gone on to save lives or make world peace with my career. I was a B student here at Shady who fell asleep every night on my bed doing homework. And my lacrosse school scoring record, 189 goals, was destroyed by Carolyn Cherry 9 years after I graduated. But when I spoke to Mr. Griffith, well, Bart, as I knew him back when we went to school here together, he confirmed that the offer to speak to you was indeed for real. And so here we are. I do realize that a lot of the reason I'm here today is because some might consider my career in New York exciting, or at least interesting. I suppose it's had its moments, but it's also one that I'm passionate about and worked hard to achieve. It's a career that I dreamed up for myself a very long time ago when I combined my love of sports and entertainment and found a way to get paid for it. As a producer and director of sports shows and documentaries at HBO, I've interviewed Tiger Woods on his golf course in Florida, filmed with Sidney Crosby in the Penguins locker room, Troy Polamalu in his kitchen, and taken punches, at least of the verbal variety, from Floyd Mayweather in his Las Vegas boxing gym. While I can think of other famous people I've met and interesting places I've filmed, what I really want to express to all of you graduates today is that I truly believe that how and why so much of that happened is because of the school that 127 of you are earning a diploma from today. Back when I was a student here, only the senior school was co-ed. The junior and middle schools were all boys. So I applied to Shady in 8th grade when I was at Winchester Thurston, which was then all girls. I can't remember the details of getting accepted to Shady, but I do know that I was over the moon. It's where I'd always hoped and envisioned I'd go to high school. When I arrived on campus as a freshman in the fall of 1988, I took quickly to my new co-ed environment, maybe a little too much. I made great new friends and had amazing teachers, advisors, coaches, and mentors. A quick shout out to 3 of them, Jean Deal, Betsy Gorse, and Tom Johnson, who are all here today. The school was everything and more I hoped it would be. But as I began to find my way in the classroom, socially, and on the field hockey field that fall, I knew it would take some time to build real confidence. Confidence in my surroundings, my place at the school, and in myself. Turns out it took 7 months. It was the end of lacrosse practice one rainy spring evening when our coach, Laura Pedersen, announced the varsity roster for the season. My name was one of 2 freshmen called. I'd worked incredibly hard for this to happen, but still I couldn't believe it. The next day, we had our first game of the year at Ellis, and I was even more stunned to learn during warm-ups that I was starting. Somehow, I was able to calm my nerves and walk out to the field for the opening draw like I belonged. And within seconds of the game starting, I got myself open, caught a pass from the senior captain, and put the ball in the upper right corner of the goal. I ended up with a hat trick in that first game. Clearly, it's a day I've never forgotten. It was a day I realized that I could actually achieve what I set my mind to. A day I began to form an identity for myself. A day I knew Shady was providing me the tools I needed to be successful. Now, I don't know all of you graduates, but I have a pretty good feeling that every one of you has a story like this. It might have happened on another playing field, in a classroom at Rowe Hall, a lab at the McElroy Center, or in the orchestra pit at the Hillman Center. It could have been an achievement recognized by the whole community or a victory that only mattered to you. But whatever it was, recognize how lucky you are that the school gave you so many opportunities to build your confidence, that it taught you to believe in yourself, to wake up every morning knowing what you're capable of, knowing what success can feel like, and why it matters. When I started working as a production assistant in HBO's sports division, I didn't have any female role models, not because I chose it to be that way, but because all the top producers there were men. And so to say it was daunting to try to pave my way among all these very sports-savvy men who put my somewhat limited sports IQ to shame is an understatement. I mean, of course I knew my Steelers and Penn stuff, as does most everyone who's from here, but I couldn't tell you how many World Cups Pele won, who was leading the NBA in assists, or even the starting left fielder for the Pirates for that matter. Then again, I'm not sure anyone's paid attention to what's happened in PNC Park these last 20 years. Sorry, Pirates. Thankfully, the key to success in the sports TV industry wasn't about reciting statistics and jersey numbers. It was about being able to tell a great story. And that was always something I thought I had in me. I loved researching and writing. I loved talking to people and interviewing them and asking questions. I loved finding creative ways to present a narrative. And I knew that all those things were essential to the type of storytelling I strive to do at HBO. But no question, I had to work extra hard and make sacrifices to compete with the boys. I needed to be extra resourceful, extra diligent, extra creative. I stayed later, I got in earlier. I fought tough battles and advocated for myself when I needed to. And as I succeeded, I realized I was doing many of the same things I'd done on the lacrosse field at Shady Side. I found teammates who I loved and made me better. I closely observed the people I admired and respected, as well as those who I didn't. And eventually, I led others who aspired to the same things as I did. Whenever I meet new people and they ask where I'm from, I say I live in New York. But even though I've lived there for the majority of my life at this point, and do love the city, I always qualify it with, but Pittsburgh is home. And sure enough, people always seem to know Pittsburgh or someone from here. And their next question is usually, where'd you go to high school? Being able to answer Shady Side is one of the best answers I give about anything. It makes me proud every single time. But of all the great gifts this school has given me, the best one would be the friendships that I made here that have endured for more than 30 years. Well, I have wonderful friends from all facets of my life. My friends from Shady Side are extra special because we grew up together, we know each other's families, we share the bond of this exceptional school. And so in preparation for today, I went back to my favorite part of making documentaries, interviewing people, and asked my closest friends from Shady Side what they wish they could tell their 18-year-old selves, and by extension, all of you graduates, if they could go back in time knowing what they know now. I figured something from the group should resonate for all 127 of you, just in case what I've already told you hasn't. I'm going to start with my dear friend, classmate, and teammate, Raquel Gonzalez Kramer. She's somewhere back there. Many of you may know her as Mrs. Kramer, the 5th grade teacher here at Country Day. Her son Alex is graduating today and knows me best as Aunt Bunny. Hi, Alex. From Raquel, whatever you think your path may be flexible when it doesn't go exactly your way. Sometimes the alternate route is the one that was meant to be. Among the alternate routes that Raquel took was dating and marrying a linebacker. When she was here at Shady Side, it was all quarterbacks. Next is from my friend Nick Kozlov, the CEO and owner of a large storage company in New York. If you have a chance to give back to others early in their journey, don't miss the opportunity. Nick didn't miss the opportunity to start the very generous William DeTillo Scholarship Fund here at Shady Side 8 years ago, and one of the recipients is graduating today. The advice of another storage company owner, only in Colorado, is from my friend Kevin Cohen. To quote Kevin, if you have a girlfriend or boyfriend right now, dump them before you leave for college. By the way, who knew 2 of my closest friends from Shady Side would become storage kings? My friend Katie McSorley Brown, who has spent a large part of the past 2 decades living with her family overseas, mostly in remote countries in Africa, passed this along. Take every adventure presented to you and put yourself in situations that take you out of your comfort zone. You'll never look back. And for what it's worth, Katie never looked back when Kevin, the future king of storage, dumped her midway through college. From Todd Kuhn, a dentist in Richmond, Virginia, be present and stay in the moment during these next great chapters of your life. Drink less, see as much live music as you can, and most importantly, don't forget to brush your teeth, even when you have really late nights in college. From Megan Frank, a marketing executive in Chicago who I've known since we were in diapers, don't be afraid to fail and take risks early in your career. Failure won't define you. How you learn and grow from those failures will. And from my pal Robbie Ferguson, the president of pet food at Smucker and a former president of the Shady Side Alumni Council, always maintain a sense of humor, even in challenging times, and have one good joke memorized. You never know when you'll need it. I asked Robbie to share his joke so I could read it to you, but it was way too dirty. The last person I'd like to mention is Ronnie Corpus, another dear friend who's here today and has 2 sons at Shady Side, Nico and AJ. Ronnie is a poet, and so I asked her to write something reflecting the question I posed. The poem is called Listen to the Truths Inside of You. There will be an endless chatter of voices, not your own, a loud cacophony of opinions and judgments, but still the world and listen closely. You will hear the compass of your heart, true to the dream dreaming inside of you. This is the voice to follow. This is the one who knows you best, like a divine calling of the soul. Thank you, Ronnie. As for me, what would I tell my 18-year-old self knowing what I know now? Well, for starters, in the future, an 88 is no longer a B at Shady Side, it's a B+. You'll be much more effective when you start doing your work at a desk. And your lacrosse scoring record will be broken one day, and likely again and again and again after that. But always know you played fewer games this season than they do today. That last one was from my dad. To the class of 2022, dream big, be bold, be confident. Hold on closely to all the school has instilled in you, and go write the story of your life. Who knows, 30 years or so from now, someone might even ask you to stand up here and share your story. Thank you and congratulations.